Namaste, my dear children. I welcome everyone for 9th standard history. We will continue with lesson 3, Early Tamil Society and Culture. In last class we studied Sangam Age Polity and Sangam Age Society. What are the political powers of the Sangam Age? Already I said. Yes, the Cheras, the Cholas and the Pandyas. They were known as Movendar. In Tamil country, as social groups were divided into 5 types and related occupational patterns. Now we learn about economy.
Economic policies of Sangam kings. The Sangam kings had a systematic revenue system. Taxes were levied on bob booty, tolls, salt, periodical gifts and on tributes granted for the revenue of kings. Agricultural activities were given priority by Pandyas and Cholas. Agricultural activities were extended by deforestation, embankment of rivers and encouraging cultivators to settle in conquered territories. To increase the food production, the kings constructed a number of tanks, canals and reservoirs. Forced labor was used for public works. Administrative divisions. The kings in due course of time had numerous responsibilities. This in turn resulted in an increase in the number of ministers and officials. The king started maintaining a regular army and navy. In order to carry on the administration effectively, the kingdom was divided into mandalams and mandalams were divided into nadus and nadus were further divided into kotams. A number of perurs or large towns, urs or villages, nagarams or market towns and pattinams or coastal towns formed one kotam. An assembly of elders called urar governed the ur. Natar were in charge of the local administration in nadus. Mahasabhas. Some villages were gifted to Brahmins called Brahmadyam. Local Brahmin assemblies called Mahasabhas governed these villages. The Mahasabhas were free from outside interference and they enjoyed tax exemption as well. The Cholas gave a lot of importance to these Mahasabhas and so the Chola period is called the golden age of the Mahasabhas. Society. The social condition of Sangam age is described in Tolkappiyam in Poruladhigaram. The Varna or caste system did not prevail in the beginning of the Sangam age, but people and land was divided on the basis of topography called Thinnai. Hills and hilly regions were called Kurinji, and the people of this region were called Kuravar or Vedar. Pastoral slopes were called Mullai, and the people were called Idayar. Fertile plains were called Marudam, and the people were called Ulavar. Coastal regions were called Neidal, and people were called Meenavar or Paratavar. The dry or desert region was called Palai, and the people of this region were called Kallar. The royal towns were in the Marudam region, and a vast section of the society lived here. Arasar or princes, Andanar or wise men, Vellalar or agriculturalists, Vanikar or traders, Viraliyar or dancers, Vannar or washermen, Pannar or bards, Umanar or salt merchants, Kuyavar or potters, weavers, poets, teachers, and men skilled in other handicrafts. Women were well educated. The name of women poets given in Sangam age proves this fact. Chastity was upheld as the quality of women. Love marriages were accepted and sati was followed among women of royal families. Caste system. Pallavas gave importance to caste system. The Brahmins occupied the highest status in the society. They were religious leaders and political and social advisors and had full authority over legal issues. They enjoyed exemption from taxes and lands were given as grants to them. People of the other castes were considered as low caste or Sudras. These landless cultivators were denied education, official status or entry into temples. Untouchability was practiced. During the Chola period, there were two divisions in the society called as Edangai or Valangai, and there was constant struggle between these two groups. But the ethical literature of the Sangam period such as Naladiyar and Tirukkural opposes caste system. Even the Tamils gave importance to ethical conduct and not to faith in God and rituals. The Nayanmas and Alvas of the Bhakti age accepted Pudiyar and Parayar as devotees, but they did not fight for their right to education, official status and temple entry. In this topic you have learnt, the king of the Sangam age had absolute power. They had a regular system of revenue. The kingdom was divided into mandalam, nadus and kotams for the sake of administration. The villages endowed to Brahmins were called Brahmadiyam. The Tamil region was divided on the basis of topography. Vast sections of the society lived in the Marudam region. At the end of the topic, you will be able to identify the Sangam literature, understand the religious practices of the Sangam period, appreciate the art and architecture of the Pallavas and Cholas, estimate the skills of the Sangam people. Sangam literature. Sangam literature was secular in nature. Poets from different sections of the society and a few women contributed to Sangam literature. The Kalabra period produced a number of literary works. Grammar works like Tolkappiyam, Pingala Ningandu, and Yaperum Kalam. Yettu Thogai and Pattu glorified war and love. Pattinen Keel Kanakku speaks about moral values. Silapadigaram, Manimegalai, Kundalakesi, Valayapati, and Sivaga Sindhamani were the 5 major epics. 5 minor epics were Nilakesi, Sulamani, Udayana Kumara Kavyam, Yashodhara Kavyam, and Nagakumara Kavyam. There were 18 minor works. Saivism and Vaishnavism gained importance during the rule of Tamil empires under the Bhakti exponents. Bhakti literatures were Devaram, Tiruvasagam, Divya Prabandham, Periya Puranam, and Kamba Ramayanam. The secular works included Kalingattu Parani, Nandi Kalambagam, Nanul, and Veera Cholliyam. Pulavaram Muthrul was a grant given by Cholas for Tamil studies. Sangam literature. During the Pallava period, Sanskrit had recognition as an official language. It was the language used in temples for rituals. The Brahmins who learned Sanskrit were given tax exemption for lands given as grants, but only a few works of Sanskrit were produced during the Sangama period, such as Matta Vilasa Pragasana, Kirtarjuniyam, Avanti Sundari Kada, and Kavya Darsam. Religion. The people of the Sangam age followed Thinnai-based religious practice. They had a liberal outlook in their religion and it did not interfere in the social-political life. They worshipped hero stones and the popular deities were Vendan, Mayon, Seyon, Kotravai, Valiyon, and Varunan. They offered flowers, grains, and animals for their deities. Worship was associated with music and dance. The Vedic yaganas performed by the Brahmins was not popular, but a few kings encouraged them. Religions such as Buddhism, Jainism, and Ajivikism entered the Tamil society during the Sangam age and became popular during the Kalabra period.
Pearl fishery under shell bangle. The Pamban coast is famous for pearl fishery. A pearl has been discovered in recently excavated Kizhadi site. Children, already these places we seen on the map. The Paradavas collected shells from the Pamban island. Paradavar means a fisherman. Shells were cut and crafted into bangles by artisans. Sangam literature describes women wearing shell. Now we see about textile production. Textile production was another important occupation, evidence of spindle holes, and pieces of cloth have been found at Kodumanal. Spindle holes were used for making thread from cotton. Next we move on to exchange trade, merchants and trade routes. Children, already we saw the primary occupation of grain, cattle wealth and various commodities. These goods were not produced by everybody. Resources and commodities were not available in all regions. For example, the hill regions did not have fish or salt, and coastal regions could not produce paddy. Therefore, trade and exchange was important for people to have access to different commodities. This was known as barter system. Children, listen carefully. Next we learn about traders. The names Vanigan and Nihama mentioned in Tamil Brahmi inscriptions. There are different types of merchants in Sangam period. They are gold merchants, cloth merchants and salt merchants. Salt merchants were called womanas and They traveled in bullock carts along with their family. Next we study about means of transport. Children, do you understand what I said? Yes. Bullock carts and animals were used to transport goods by land. Trade routes linked the various towns of Tamilagam. Various types of watercrafts and sea-going vessels such as Kalam, Pari, Odam, Thoni, Teppam and Navai are also mentioned in Tamil literature. Barter and coins. Barter was the primary mode of exchange. For instance, rice was exchanged for fish. Salt was precious and a handful of it would fetch an equal amount of rice. Fetch means get. The extensive availability of coin hoarders of the Sangam age of the Cheras, Cholas, Pandyas and Malayaman indicated that they were used widely. Hoarders means a stock or store. Next we know about Sangam and overseas interactions. Tamil country had connection with the countries overseas both in the east and west. Roman ships used monsoon winds to cross the Western Sea or the Arabian Sea to connect Tamilagam with the Western world. Spices including pepper, ivory and precious stones were exported. Metal including gold, silver and copper and precious stones were imported. Yavana refers to the Westerners, including the Greek Romans and West Asian people. Yavana derives from the Greek region of Ionia. Children, are you listening me? Yes. Next we learn about Tamil Nadu to Red Sea coast. An Indian jar with a 7.5 gram of pepper, teak wood, a potsherd with the Tamil Brahmi inscriptions and Indian pottery have been discovered at Berinai, a port on Red Sea coast of Egypt at Hashir al-Hadim, another port located north of Berinai on the Red Sea coast. 3 Tamil Brahmi inscriptions, Panayori, Kanan and Kattan have been found on pottery discovered here. A stone with the name Perumpadankal. Perumpadankal has been founded at Huan Lakbat in Thailand. Southeast Asia was known as Swarnabhumi in Tamil literature. The stone was used by a person called Perumpadan. Perumpadan, probably a goldsmith. It was a touchstone used to test the purity of gold. Children, in this topic, some names are unfamiliar for you. So, practice the hard words at your home. Thank you all. We will see the next class.